There we go. Episode 15. 5 more questions. 5 more awesome questions to help you prepare for Security Plus, help you get your certification and on your way into either breaking into cybersecurity, or maybe it's just because your company or your organization wants you to have it, right? Security Plus is really one of those certifications that really comes down to kind of entry level. But if you're IT, right, you may be required it, especially if the government, to kind of go through it. And so it's really a well-rounded, one of the most popular certifications out there because it really does provide a foundational level for cybersecurity. I often get asked, like, okay, well, is this going to get me a job in cybersecurity? No, it's the certification is just a certification. Will it get you through the HR roadblocks? Yes, yes, it will. A lot of companies have a requirement for employees to have Security Plus, especially in IT, especially in cyber. And it's just that it's that entry level certification. If you're really trying to break into cyber, if you're really trying to go that route, my recommendation is CYSA. And people often tell me, well, what about pen test? What about CEH? I'm sorry, those are more offensive cybersecurity certification. Some companies want them, right? And I think it really depends on the company. But I would concentrate on CYSA Plus after Security Plus. And honestly, I would look on getting hands-on experience if possible. That above everything else, even Security Plus, if you can manage it. You should be working on Security Plus if you're trying to break into cybersecurity. That's just it's required. And unfortunately, it's one of those entry level gateways that you have to kind of go through, unfortunately. All right, let's get into this. I talk too much, obviously, but let's see if we can't get into this. Question number 1: a company is setting up a backup strategy to ensure data availability in case of a ransomware attack. Which of the following is the most appropriate or effective method, effective, not appropriate, to protect the backup data from being encrypted by ransomware? And so we want a backup methodology that is going to stop to protect our data from being encrypted by ransomware. We want it to be encrypted. We want to be the ones doing the encryption. We don't want a piece of malware doing it for us. And so, what do you think? What do you think on this one? It's interesting. It's interesting because so many companies don't do this, and it's really cost effective. I all the time, ransomware attacks are just going through the roof. I feel like I can't go a week without another news story breaking about another ransomware attack that took place. And I don't want to say it's easy to stop, but there are preventive measures that you can do. There's preventive things that you can do as a company to stop ransomware attack. Are they always 100% effective? No, there's nothing 100% effective. But some of them make me really question whether or not they did anything at all to stop a ransomware attack, unfortunately. And that's good for people like me and you, because that means job security, right? you have to take the good with the bad, I guess. You have to look at the golden truth behind it. Unfortunately, you have to find the upside. You have to find the upside as we go through. Speaking of upsides, I can't believe we're on episode 15. I can't believe it. When I started this, I was like, we'll see how it does. And then I've gotten such an amount of support from all kinds of people, and it's very reassuring, and I always appreciate that, right? All right, let's answer this one. If you need more time, go ahead and press that pause button. A company is setting up a backup strategy to ensure data availability in case of a ransomware attack. Which of the following is the most effective method to protect the backup data from being encrypted by ransomware? Let's start with D. Perform incremental backups to an external hard drive and store it on site. Okay. So, no. I wanted to say yes. I really do. Right? But look at the question. Which of the following is the most effective method to protect the backup data from being encrypted by ransomware attack? Here's the problem with an incremental backup, right? And an external hard drive. Incremental backup means that every time something changes, we're gonna back it up, and that's fine. And we can store it on site, and that's good and all, but that's not very. It's not very efficient. It's not very effective, because I want you to think about this, right? It's the days of small time, small use systems are far behind us. Far behind us. And there's another problem with storing it on site, right? Who has access to it? You hope that it's just your IT team. You really do. Is it a plausible strategy? Yeah, it's a plausible strategy. I just feel like there's better ones out there. I really do. All right, let's move on. What about let's hit A. Store backups on a NAS device connected to the primary network. So a network area storage device connected to the primary network. If the primary network gets hit, then our NAS is going to get hit too because it's connected. So it could easily go through. I don't think so. I don't think so. There's too many variables on that one. And again, better answers. Much better answer. That leaves B or C. B or C for our appropriate answer. I think I said this in Network Plus. In fact, I know I did because I just recorded it 2 hours ago. I leave a little bit of time because I want you, if you guessed A or D, I want you to take another guess. I want you to take a guess. Is it B or C? Look at it. What do you think? Is it B or C? That's how we're approaching this, right? It's okay. If we get something wrong, did we learn something? That's all we care about. Are we learning? All right, that leaves B. Use cloud backups with MFA, multi-factor authentication enabled, or create local backups on the same server being backed up. I feel like if you know it's not A, then you know it's not C for the same reason. So it's got to be B. Use cloud backups with multi-factor authentication. They're off-site. They're readily accessible. They're encrypted already with our own stuff, right? And then they're using multi-factor authentication. And so we set a layer of separation between us and the storage area. And that's really what we want with that layer of separation between. So B is going to be the best answer here. The best one. There you go. There you go. All right, hope that made sense. Question number 2. A healthcare organization is decommissioning old hard drives that contain sensitive patient data. Which of the following methods ensures data destruction on the drives in compliance with HIPAA regulations? Now, you don't need to know all the HIPAA regulations. That's not something we need to know. But you do need to know the basics of HIPAA. You need to know what HIPAA is, which it kind of gives it to you. It kind of tells it right off the bat in the question. But what would be the best answer here? That's the real question. What is going to ensure data destruction in compliance with HIPAA? And I think the real case here is understanding which one does data destruction, right? Because again, we don't need to know HIPAA up, down, and sideways. We just need to understand what HIPAA is, and you can kind of answer the questions just from that. Okay. All right, let's answer this one. If you need more time, of course, pause the video. I love A. A is my favorite answer. We'll just format the hard drive multiple times. It'll secure it. Look at autopsy. Look at autopsy. If you've never heard of autopsy, I have it in my list of tools that you can look. Matter of fact, I'll post a link up here for you. Autopsy. Check that one out. That one shows you how to recover data after it's been deleted. Of course, I use a USB drive, but same basic aspect. Okay. Let's go with D next. Encrypting the data on the drives and discarding them, because of course that works, right? No one ever breaks encryption. No one ever does that, right? So why wouldn't we just encrypt the data? Oh, so many things wrong with that answer. So much wrong with that one. And so D, not going to be the correct answer. We can get rid of D. All right, that leaves us B or C. B or C. We can overwrite the hard drives with random data using secure wipe tool, or we can physically destroy the hard drives using a shredding technique. Well, I think if you read it and it says data destruction, then you know that C must be the right answer. That is the only one here that actually destroys the data. You cannot recover from a shredded hard drive. It cannot happen. It's impossible. That's the entire reason of shredding it. And so when we're looking at that, C is going to be our correct answer with that one. Did you get it right? Are you doing a little jig? Yeah, I get a little bit crazy. I'll be honest with you. All right, question number 3. I'm probably not going to relive that one. I'm probably going to have one of my students take that and post it in class today. That's okay. All right, question number 3. A manufacturing facility uses RTOS, or RTOS, to control its industrial automation equipment. Which security risks are unique to RTOS environments, RTOS, environments, compared to general purpose operating systems? Well, we have to know what an RTOS is, right? But what do you think? What do you think on this one? I know. Those pesky acronyms. Remember, I'm going to pound this in. I'm going to say it again. I think I say it every video. 40% of your exam can be passed by understanding what an acronym is. Just by knowing the acronym. 40%. 40%. It is that high. I firmly believe that. That's how some of the questions are written in CompTIA. 40% of their questions are written if you just know what the acronym is. You don't even have to know what the acronym does. You just have to know what the acronym is. Just the name, and it answers 40% of the questions. I swear. I swear. That's Chet's word on that one, okay? I firmly believe that. Another 10% is by knowing what it actually does. That's another 10%. So that's 50% of your exam right there. Just knowing the acronym and knowing what it does. 50% of your exam, okay? All right, let's answer this one. You need more time? Of course, pause it. A manufacturing facility uses RTOS, real-time operating systems. They prioritize real-time performance and low latency over the built-in security features. That's what an RTOS is. Which security risks are unique to RTOSs, real-time operating system environments, compared to general-purpose operating systems? Well, I feel like we can get rid of D. RTO systems are immune to buffer overflow attacks due to their design. It says general purpose. What are the security risks? It's not asking what their advantages are. It's asking what their security risks are. And so that right off the bat, that's their major hint. We know it's not that one. Let's hit A next. RTO's systems prioritize security patches over operational uptime. No, that's no, that's not a thing. And the reason it's not the right answer is because it asks what security risks are unique. I would think that prioritizing a security patch would be a benefit, and it's not asking for a benefit, it's asking for a risk. And so again, we can get rid of A. That leaves B or C. B, RTO systems often lack built-in security features due to strict timing constraints, or RTO systems can easily switch between multiple applications running simultaneously. Well, B sounds like a security problem. C just sounds like an operational increase. And so if you read, it's not an overly difficult question. Where CompTIA gets you, is your need to hurry, right? And yeah, we need to hurry. We only want to spend 30 to 45 seconds, but this is the type of question I would expect to see. It pretty much rules out all the other answers just by understanding what the question's asking you. You can get rid of the other three right off the bat. So the answer is going to be B. 100%. 100% going to be B. There it is. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get into some tool outputs. Here we go. Security analyst is reviewing the following WAF log to investigate a potential attack against a web application. Based on the WAF log, what actions should the security analyst take to mitigate further risks? Make sure you read the log. It's important. What do you think? What do you think on this one? I like these types of questions. I like tool outputs. I feel like a lot of students studying for Security Plus, they know the theory, right? But they don't know how to put one and one together. And that's not to be mean. It's just, when you're watching a video on Security Plus, or you're learning how to do something for the first time, the theory is important. It really is. And we learn through theory, right? And textbooks show theory, but they don't show practical examples. And I think that's really what I like to try and do here, right? Now, not all of them are like that, right? Last week, I think we did all tool outputs, but today we're just going to do a couple. We're just going to do this couple, right? If you need more time, go ahead and pause that video. All right, a security analyst is reviewing the following WAF log to investigate a potential attack against a web application. Well, what is a WAF? Web application firewall. Based on the web application firewall log, what action should the security analyst take to mitigate further risks? All right, so if we're reading this WAF, we can see the date, pretty self-explanatory. We can see the IP address of the client. We can see it's a post, login PHP. We see a rule, the action taken was blocked, and then we see the description, SQL injection attempt detected. And we can see select from users where users equals admin or 1 equals 1, typical of an SQL injection attack. All right, so let's get rid of some answers. Let's start with D. Add the SQL query to the WAF whitelist to bypass future blocks. What? Why would we do that? We know it's an SQL injection. Why would we want to bypass it? Why would we want to bypass future? So we basically want to tell our WAF to ignore it now. Don't worry about it. I think an attacker would want to do that. Don't do their job for them. Let's not do that. All right. C. Block the IP address of the client to prevent further attacks. Definitely a maybe. I like this one. I really do. I like blocking IP addresses. I really do. B, allow requests through the web application firewall is a false positive. No, it's not. It's not a false positive. I mean, admin or 1 equals 1, that's like the definition of an SQL injection attack. That's like, I teach this. And I'm like, if you see 1 equals 1, that is an SQL injection attack. That is a true statement after it. It's always blank or, and then a true statement. 1 equals 1, 0 equals 0. That is like the indicator of an SQL injection attack, right? And so it's not a false positive, very much not a false positive. So B ruled out. And then A, update the web application to prevent SQL injection vulnerabilities. Okay, so we have A and we have C as our possible answers. Both are good answers. Both are. Which one's the better answer? Update the web application to prevent SQL injection vulnerabilities or block the IP address? Here's the problem with C. Here's the problem. I'm sorry if you guessed C. Here's the problem with C. Look at the IP address. Look at it. Is that a public or a private IP address? It's a private IP address. So why would we block our own IP addresses? That's a problem, right? And so that's our hint. That's our clue right there. Okay, so the answer is going to be A. It's going to be update the web application to prevent SQL injection vulnerabilities. Now, had the IP been a public IP address and not a private IP address, meaning it's coming from outside of our network, would I block it? Would I block it over updating the web application to prevent SQL injection vulnerabilities? Yes, I would. And I'll tell you why. Because we already blocked this one. We've already blocked it, right? It's already been blocked. Of the available responses, it's the only one that makes sense. It really is. And that's, I know, it's a CompTIA dirty trick. It really is. And I'm sorry to be the one that did it to you, but I did. I mean, understand that. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay, question number 5. A network administrator receives an alert from the IDS system indicating a possible brute force attack targeting the SSH service. Based on the IDS log, which of the following is the most appropriate next step for the administrator? Read the logs. Read the log. Now, we don't often see a lot of log type questions in Security Plus. We do see some, especially in the PBQs, right? We do see some. It is possible for it to be there. It is possible. And you should have a good understanding of IDS. You should have a good understanding of a lot of different tools, right? That's our goal, though. Our goal is to learn it. What do you think? What do you think on this one? What do you think? All right. Go ahead and pause the video. Pause the video if you need more time. We're gonna answer this one. We're gonna go through this one. All right. Let's read through this. Right. We see our alert number. Okay. We see our source IP, public or a private. It's a public. I bet you're looking now. Yes, that's a public IP address. This is a private IP address, which means it's coming into our network. We see the protocols TCP, port 22, which is SSH. Multiple failed login attempts detected. 15 failed login attempts in 60 seconds. Quite a few. And then attack action taken. Alert only. Why is it alert only? Because it's an IDS. That's why. IDS. All right. Let's get rid of some of these. Let's get rid of some of these answers. Where should we start today? Let's start with D. Change the SSH port to a non-standard port. Okay. You ever heard me talk about this before? That is the most boneheaded, brain-dead idea I've ever come in. And I'm sorry if that's offensive. I'm sorry if you picked D. I really am. I'm not saying you're brain-deaded or boneheaded. I'm just saying you don't know. Changing the SSH port to a non-standard port doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. It's not going to stop an attacker. Okay, a simple network scan will figure that out. Simply by trying to connect into the port, even if the network scan doesn't come in, can find that port. It's a hiccup. It's a hiccup for an attacker. It really is. It's not going to accomplish anything. All right. So we're not going to do D. D is not a good answer in any way, shape, or form. Block the source IP from the firewall. Block the source IP from the firewall. I like this answer again. We had this last question. Block the source IP from the firewall. I like this answer. I really do. I'm going to put this one in my back pocket. I really am. B, increase logging levels on the ADS for more details. Okay, so let's reread the question. Based on the IDS log, which of the following is the most appropriate next step for the administrator? We don't need to increase the logging levels. It detected it just fine. And it's not having any issues detecting it, 15 and 60 seconds. So, yeah, I don't think so. And then A, disable SSH service on the server. Well, that could be an appropriate response. It could be. Not my favorite response, though. Why would we disable SSH service on a service? The more appropriate one would be to disable SSH service from outside the network into our internal network. And I would 100% do that, but that's not an option. We have to pick the options that are available to us. And so with that said, C is going to be the best answer right there. C, block the source IP at the firewall. 100%. I would prefer to block all external IPs. I really would. Because it doesn't make sense on a server to have it open. But not an option. So C is going to be our correct answer. There we go. I hope you learned something. I hope it was beneficial. Till next time, I'm Dr. K. We'll see you.